Hello and welcome back to the Bottom Bins podcast. This is our 6th installment in the World Cup series. Probably should have mentioned as well, you are listening to the world's #1 football podcast, as voted for by
the four
of us in the room. Listen, we hope you've been enjoying the content. We've been trying our best to just pump out as much as we can and try and keep you as informed on the World Cup as you possibly can be. So jumping straight into this episode, what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be reviewing the quarterfinals and then previewing the semi-finals. Obviously, again, boys, some massive results over the weekend. Some big shocks once again in this World Cup. So I'll come to you first, Oren. Come to you with the biggest shock of all. Croatia. They've knocked everybody's favourite, Brazil, out of the tournament. How do you feel about the game? What did you think? Croatia deserved winners, or?
Well, look, they done what they needed to do. So you'd say they're deserved winners in that aspect. Like, they've done the job. I was disappointed with the game. Didn't think the game had all too much. Look, Neymar's goal was fabulous. But I didn't think the game had too much. I was expecting Brazil to go out and blitz them. I don't think Croatia will go any further. I think they've run their luck. But then again, they've beat the favourites, so what can you say?
Yeah.
Brazil have sacked their manager. It's not what I expected. I expected Brazil to walk this World Cup, to be honest. And I think everybody did. And we were all talking on this podcast last week about, who's Brazil going to face in the next round or whatever. And it just hasn't turned out that way.
No.
Which is fine, and it shows how good this World Cup has actually turned out to be. And we're getting used to these sort of shock results that we've seen throughout this World Cup. And I just think Brazil should have done a lot better, and they've sacked their coach because of it, and I think that's very telling.
Yeah, I think I would definitely agree with you, Oren. I think Brazil were definitely very lacklustre the other night. Oh, and I'll come to you on this one. Obviously, on our last episode, me and you said that, Croatia just have this knack of turning big sides over. Like, they did it in 2018. They've done it now once again by beating Brazil. Oh, what do you think about them, Owen? What is it that makes them so difficult to beat in these types of games?
The simple fact is that Croatia is a team that just refuses to lose. They're such a dogged outfit. They'll take you down to their level. They're not afraid to play the ugly side of football. They're not there to have fans waxing lyrical about them. They're not playing the philosophy of you score 3, we score 4. They're there to win. They're there to get results. And as they've shown this World Cup, as they've shown in the previous World Cup, they get those results. Like, they're now the experts at penalties in World Cups. I think they've been in 4 World Cup penalty shootouts. They've won 4. I think something like 6 out of the last 7 knockout games have went to extra time.
Yes.
Like, they just know how to bring a team to their level and bring a team to where that team doesn't want to go, but where Croatia does want to go. They had some really strong performers against Brazil. Vardiol was a rock in defence.
Yeah.
Zorro was my dad. I was calling them because the mask he was wearing. He seemed to be everywhere. Lahovic in goal is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
He made 11 saves. It was almost like a Tim Howard performance.
Yes.
Only better because he only let in 1 goal and he won the game.
Yeah.
Reminded me a lot of Guillermo Ochoa.
World Cup
who
hero.
we love on this podcast.
And there's one particular Croatian player I want to talk about. Fireball. Josip Juranovic. I think Juranovic was unbelievable against Brazil. I love him because he plays for Celtic, simple as that. But I have him in the back of my jersey, which I actually gave to a Brazilian fella, so that's probably getting burnt right now, but we'll ignore that. He pocketed Vinicius Jr. Like, they had to sub Vinicius off. That's how good he was against him. But it wasn't just like he sat back and let Vinicius come to him and tackle him when he got there. His philosophy of competing with Vinicius was nearly, make Vinicius a defender. I'm going to drive forward at Brazil. I'm going to take the ball forward. I'm going to give the rest of the back four that few moments rest, so there's some sort of outlet to get the ball away from the goal. So, because Croatia did actually, especially in the first half, Croatia did play about with the ball a wee bit.
Yeah, they did.
The first 20 minutes or so was completely different from the rest of the game. The first 20 minutes, Croatia pressed Brazil and made Brazil panic a wee bit. And then when the game started going on, Croatia was starting to think, okay, we can't get this extra time, we can't get this penalties. They did sort of revert back to 11 men behind the ball and the low block. But when Brazil got the goal in extra time, it kind of looked, everybody was like, okay, game's over. Croatia, you've done your best. The hard luck story. But they reacted really well. They got themselves back in the game. They only had that one chance. I think they only had one shot on target.
Yeah.
And it was the goal.
Yeah.
Took a deflection, a wee bit of luck about it. But you need that wee bit of luck
Yeah, you do.
if you're going to win games.
You do.
And that's what Croatia do. They take those chances when they come. And they're just a really, really dogged outfit. And I think it's about time people stop writing them off, because they've been writing them off since 2018 and they've been proving everybody wrong week in, week out.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair enough. Connor, I'll come to you with this one. So, what would you say about Brazil then? Where do Brazil go from here?
Well, as you said, they've sacked the coach. I thought they were big favourites to win it too. I did say the last podcast France just because of their experience, but I think Brazil has the best squad at the World Cup. You even seen like bringing boys like Anthony and all off the bench, and I thought he was good. I thought just got to give credit to Croatia. They were just unbelievable. Even their midfield, you got Modric, Brozovic, and Kovacic, and they were unbelievable. They were just stopping the threat. A few key players for Brazil let them down. Richarlison was per Rafinha. Vidic Jr., as you were saying, he got took off. It's just hard because obviously there's not another World Cup now for 3.5 years, and they haven't won. This will be, I've seen 24 years now.
By the time the next one,
24 by the next one.
Yeah.
It's just hard to know because Brazil, they were playing exciting football, as you said. They didn't maybe play as well as they have, but they did have 11 shots on target.
Yeah.
And as Owen was saying there, the Croatia didn't have a shot on target at the 117th minute.
Yeah.
And it was a deflected goal. So they were unlucky in that way, but I thought that's maybe where they messed up. It was just like they thought maybe they had it won. As I think I've said this before, but I was saying they're the first team to lose a knockout game in extra time after scoring first.
Yes.
So it was just crazy to see. But I think you just have to give credit to Croatia, and for Brazil it's just going to be a long 3 years. They're still a young team. I know Neymar, he may not play at the next World Cup, but they're still a good young team. I know Neymar got the goal, but I thought they should have took him off with about 5-10 minutes to go, and they should have went really defensive. Even for like the goal they conceded, like Fred was the furthest man up the pitch.
Yeah.
Like how has that happened? I thought he was brought on to
shore things up a wee bit. Yeah.
I just thought that tactically they messed up, and
It's cost them ultimately.
and they're just gonna have to wait now 3.5 years.
Yeah, that's
Can we
it.
talk about Neymar?
Yeah, of course we can.
Neymar didn't take a penalty.
Yeah.
No.
They kept him on. I agree with you, Connor.
Yeah.
Should have taken Neymar off because he was lackluster
He
with his
looked
pass
injured
and
as
stuff.
well,
He
didn't
looked
he?
injured.
Yeah.
There was just something about him. He had an off day. Scored a fabulous goal, of course.
Goals class.
But you need to take responsibility when you're taking a penalty for your country in such a high pressure game. You need your best penalty takers to go first.
Yeah.
You should not be relying. No disrespect to Marquinhos. Hope you're enjoying the pod, Marquinhos. But you shouldn't have been
Head
taking
up,
that
son.
fourth penalty, lad.
I totally agree. I think he should have even went first.
He should
But
have went
as you
first,
said,
yeah.
at least he should go fourth
Yeah.
because they know if we miss, we're out.
Yeah, because they had
So,
missed the first one
yeah.
already.
And you even seen it there. Messi for Argentina, first penalty taker. Van Dijk stepped up. I know he missed, but first penalty taker. It's Neymar needed to step up there and put his I think he should have took the first one. I think he should.
How many times have we seen the big name player want to take that fifth penalty?
Yeah.
Ronaldo does it all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes he has scored the winning penalty in the past. But you cannot rely on it getting there.
Definitely.
Personally, I feel either your biggest penalty taker takes your first one to set the tone, or the third one, because the third one's always going to be crucial. No matter what happens in penalty shootout, you're going to have to score your third one.
Yeah.
But you can't be leaving it to the fifth, because as we've seen with Neymar, it mightn't come.
See, that's the thing, and I don't know if that was Neymar's decision himself or whether that was the coach's decision. to leave Neymar till the
I
final
would say it
penalty
was
taker.
Neymar.
I
say
say more.
He wanted the spotlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, look, he should know better if that's the case. He is meant to be his country's talisman. He's the guy that, like when you think of Brazilian football, like Neymar's the first person that springs to mind. He's meant to be the guy that is carrying this young generation on his shoulders ultimately. He should have went first, no doubt about it. And ultimately, Brazil have paid the consequence because of that.
But how crazy is it? Like, if Croatia don't get that goal, we're probably all talking up Neymar. We're like, oh, what a player! I think he equalled Pele.
That's just football, Connor.
But you know what I mean? Like,
That's
that's
the way
just
it goes.
madness.
That's
But
just the way it goes.
I think at least, as Warren said, he at least had to take the fourth one.
Yeah.
They knew
Yeah.
if we miss, we're out. He has to take that penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Has
not
to.
like you have to submit a list to the referee of who's going up.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
change
you
it
can
on
change
the
it.
spot.
On the spot, yeah.
Look, Brazil is going to see this as the one that got away. this entire tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This was the one to bring Brazilian football back, to get that coveted 6-star,
Yeah.
and it is going to, and for long, this is going to sting for Brazil because it is the one that got away. They don't necessarily have an old team because they have a lot of good young players.
Yeah.
But there's players entering their prime, and Neymar is the talisman. He probably won't be back. Casemiro probably won't be back. Thiago Silva won't be back.
Yeah.
Like, that's a
Yeah.
big core
Like,
of their
this is-
team who's going to be moving on now.
That's a spine. That is the spine of a team
Yeah.
right there. Like, you know, like even Marquinhos is 29.
Oh, but they'll be back at the next one.
Marquinhos
will,
will,
of course.
Neymar
So
will as
Neymar,
well.
yeah. And
Neymar,
so will
definitely.
Casemiro. They all will.
I think
All
Casemiro
will.
too.
Thiago
Thiago
Silva
Silva
won't.
won't.
Thiago
Yeah, it's
Silva
his
won't.
last one, but he's like
Like Alisson,
what is
all
he, 37?
Aye, something
like
like
Alisson and all still be there. They still
They'll
have
still
a
be
good
there,
team, but I do
100%.
agree it was a massive chance for them. This was
Mm-hmm.
it. This was the World Cup.
that. Look, they were far and away the best squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you looked at their squad, all the individual players, like before they'd even kicked a ball, like they were far and away the best individual squad. So to go out in the quarterfinals to, you know, a team like Croatia who, like realistically, 2018 they did ride their luck to get to the final, but for years after that, people said, look, they're a good side, you know, but like I didn't look at the Croatia's squad this year and go, they have a really good chance of getting far in this competition. I thought, you know, Modric would ultimately not be able to compete, you know, at that level anymore. He's just completely proven me wrong. He's still.
Top player.
See, if Madrid don't sign him for another year, somebody is going to get Modric, and whoever gets Modric is incredibly lucky because he is still.
Could go back to Spurs.
He could. I was talking to Ashton about this the other day. Like, I think if Spurs picked him up for a year, 2 years, that would be absolutely
Yeah, it'd be
unbelievable
brilliant for
business.
Spurs, yeah.
If Croatia go on and do it, you have to be looking at Luka Modric as one of the best midfielders of all time. He already is
is,
one of the best
yeah.
midfielders of all time.
He's still, you would still say he's in the top 3 midfielders in the world right now, like at 37 or
There's
38.
no club in world football wouldn't take him.
No,
And if
It's
they,
crazy,
If they
like.
didn't,
they're stupid.
stupidly.
Yeah.
Every
See, yeah.
performance for Real Madrid, I always look. I don't watch Real Madrid week in week out, but I always see on Facebook and Twitter and stuff. It usually comes off around the 75th, 80th minute. Every single performance, he comes off to a stand ovation
Ovation, yeah.
from both home and away fans.
Yeah.
That's how good
But
Luka Modric is.
He's a big game player, like as well.
Oh,
Even
yeah,
all them
fully.
games for Real Madrid,
Yeah.
he was key.
Fully.
You know, he's a great player.
It's funny after his first season at Real Madrid, he was voted as like Real Madrid's worst ever signing by
That's right.
by Real Madrid fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fairly swallowed that pill quickly, didn't you? You know.
No. But see with Croatia, they're like, I seen a stat there, like that was their third time getting through the group stage, and every time they've done that, they've reached at least a semi-final.
Have they?
Yeah, that's
Oh, that's
crazy.
mad.
That's like,
Croatia
that's
only made their
mental.
debut in
I know.
'98,
I know.
and they've been to 3 semi-finals so far, one
Yeah,
final,
in the final.
and
That's crazy.
more to come this year. Like,
Yeah.
Population of 4 million, like.
Mm-hmm.
And Argentina are gonna
And look at some of the footballers they produce. The main reason I didn't really give Croatia a chance was because there was no Mandzukic anymore.
yeah,
They had no elite level forward that they could go to score goals, but I mean they're still scoring goals.
yeah.
They're still creating chances. They're still finishing chances. Like it's like you said, they only need one chance in the game to put the ball in the net.
Yeah.
Like so,
That could be their Achilles heel, though. Like not having that top striker.
that top
Because
striker.
if they can
yeah.
see like an early goal, they'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
That way, but they're
Mandzukic,
dogged. Like
Mandzukic is still technically on the management
Yeah,
staff.
he's
He
the
is on the
management
sideline. If they start to get a wee bit panicky, so
I bring him on the
I'm
ball.
sure somebody can take out a Mandzukic's jerseys from somewhere.
Mandzukic is class. Like,
yeah,
Oh, he was a
he was
baller.
quality footballer.
Yeah,
is he retired?
Yeah.
he was deadly. But
He was deadly footballer. Right, well, moving on from Croatia and Brazil, we'll go to the other game on Friday, Holland and Argentina. Again, when we listened back to our episode from Friday, none of us gave Argentina a chance. That game really surprised me, to be completely honest. I didn't expect Argentina to come out and be as on the front foot as what they were. I think there were a number of really, really good performers for Argentina, but I think the thing I want to talk to you the most about, lads, is it got fiery.
Very
Got
fiery.
very fiery, and I didn't expect that. Like I didn't imagine Holland and Argentina to be so feisty with one another.
they really didn't like each other.
no, that was
But
good.
it really got that way, and I'm not going to lie. see, whenever Holland scored the 2 goals, I wanted Holland to win. I was supporting Holland, and my mum and dad and Oisin, they were all supporting Argentina. They were like, no, you want Messi to win it. You want Messi to win it. But I thought, the Argentinians are a hateful bunch, like, aren't they?
No, they are.
But then it wasn't until I seen videos back on Twitter, the Dutch were winding them up the whole game. Like, I seen one, see, during the penalties, I think it was it Lautaro Martinez when he went up to take his penalty. Frankie de Jong and Weghorst, like, cornered him before he went to leave the centre circle, and they were like shouting in his face and calling him like whatever they were calling him in Dutch. But I was like, oh, do you know what, actually I'm glad Argentina won it, because if somebody was talking to me like that and then I scored the winning penalty, I probably would have run up and screamed back in their face.
Not a Mendy one though.
Yeah.
Ears.
Well, it got the reason that game got so feisty, and we're going to have to touch on it, was the refereeing performance.
Oh my god,
It was dreadful.
brutal.
Like, I know it is Christmas, and he was handing the cards out like it is Christmas, but God, like, he wasn't afraid to give a yellow card until it came a crucial moment to give a yellow card.
Yeah.
Like, Partey should have been sent off. He should have got 2 yellow cards in 30 seconds. He should have got booked for the foul in that guy, and he should have got booked for booting the ball at the Dutch bench.
At the Dutch bench.
Only the Dutch were up in protest of the foul.
Yeah.
Somebody was getting knocked out by that ball. Like, he hit that thing like a rocket.
I don't know how Timber didn't get sent off as well. That lad was committing fouls.
Messi should have been
flat
sent
out.
off.
Yep.
Yeah,
He,
so many red cards.
he committed deliberate handball, which Romero did as well. Romero got booked for it. Messi was already on a yellow, and he didn't get a second yellow.
But it's because he's Messi.
It is because it's Messi. Like, that referee's been sent home now. It's probably the worst refereeing performance I've seen.
It's annoying when a game of football that was as good as that, and I really thought that was a good game of football. Like we all said on the podcast, other than you, Warren, you said it was going to be the most exciting game, but we all said we thought it was going to be boring. It actually was probably the most exciting game out of all those quarterfinals, and to have it marred and ruined by having some good spouts of football ruined because of a poor referee sort of takes away from the whole thing, like, doesn't it?
The only thing is, I would say, is just the Dutch, like, they were so negative that first 75, 80 minutes. Like, they didn't do anything, and then they throw on the 2 forwards, and the whole game changes. I just thought, I was glad to see Holland beat. I'm not going to lie, because Louis van Gaal plays some of the worst football ever. I heard Rio Ferdinand say, oh, it's not like Louis van Gaal, he likes to play the beautiful game. And I was like, Rio, did you not watch him when he was our manager at Man United? Because he was the most negative manager, so I'd rather Argentina got through, to be honest.
Well, to be completely honest, the one thing I am really happy about is that at least throw the big men on and lump it up is still very much alive.
Route 1 football.
Lad, you can bet your ass that every man in Burnley was out loving life, saying Sean Dyche football is still truly alive. Chuck on 2 over 6 foot strikers and go here. We're just going to lump everything into the box and pay it off. Like,
there's nothing quite like 10 minutes left of your World Cup life and scrapping for it. But that's my fear for Argentina, and it has been my fear for Argentina for a couple of weeks now and going forward. They can't kill teams off.
Yeah.
They couldn't kill Australia off.
Yeah.
They really couldn't kill the Netherlands off for the weekend. Like, they should not have been thrown that lead away.
No,
they kind of panicked, didn't they?
They completely hit panic mode completely. All they had to do was keep the ball on the ground, play about with it.
Yeah.
The Dutch were getting nowhere near them anyway, but they panicked, get the ball out of the rocks, get it away, get away.
Yeah.
And all of it was like, the Dutch reload, get it in the Weghorst, reload, get it in the Weghorst.
Yeah. And then they kind of woke up again then, Argentina, in extra time.
Yeah.
And I thought there was only one team really wanted to win that, because you seen Louis van Gaal, he's like, oh, we're never going to lose a penalty shootout. And that's why they all were getting angry at him, even Messi after the game. You know, they just played for penalties. So I would think, like, Holland didn't even have a shot. I don't even think they had a shot.
Until they got
no, but even in extra time, I don't even think they had a shot. I know Fernandez hit the post for Argentina. Like, they were trying to win the game.
Yeah.
Or Holland were just looking.
Looking at the penalty shootout. Yeah. Do you think taking off Gakpo and Memphis maybe hurt them in the penalty shootout then as well?
I don't know. Like, Berghuis came on. Like, Berghuis didn't play well, but he had a cracking effort that went into the side net.
Yeah, that's right.
That was good shot. 2-1,
yeah.
That's right.
But I don't know, they brought on a couple of strikers, and we were talking about Neymar not taking a penalty. I think, yes, kudos to Virgil van Dijk. He stood up and took a penalty. He's the captain of the team. He decided to do that. And I know he's always been good at a dead ball, like especially at Celtic. He would have took free kicks for Celtic, and he scored. He scored a good few free kicks for Celtic. I don't think he should have stood up to take the first penalty.
Maybe not the first
Yeah.
one, maybe a penalty later on
Yeah.
down the line.
You need
See,
to let your strikers take a penalty.
see, that's where I feel like maybe Depay should have still been on the pitch, because he probably would have been the first penalty taker in that instance. But it just turned out to be a really exciting game of football. It was one of those ones where, yes, it was marred by a refereeing performance, but it felt like a game that had it all. Yeah. Do you reckon that anybody goes in January then for Weghorst? Because it was, for 10 minutes there, he looked like he looked like the best striker at the World Cup.
He's on loan at Besiktas for the season, so I can't see anybody going in for him. Yeah. But that was one of the best free kicks I've ever seen.
Yeah.
His second goal. That's one in the pressure of the moment.
To try something like that.
90 minutes, yeah.
No one expected it.
To try something like that is ridiculous.
That's class.
You seen Gakpo stand over it, and you're thinking,
here we go.
Gakpo's going to make his name. And then he passes it in to the great Wout Weghorst, who puts it past Emi Martinez, who is so hateful, by the way.
Oh,
he's the worst.
I love that.
Do you ever hear?
He is awful.
See when he's Copa America, do you ever hear him talking during the penalties and all? He's the worst.
I don't understand. How's that a man who can complain about other people's antics when he acts a dick all the time?
Yeah.
Like, he's just, as you say, he's just a dislikable fella.
Yeah, he's just hateful.
Weren't you at the game? The Villa game, when they missed the penalty,
Yeah.
and he was just talking so much smack. Oh, he's so good at it though.
No, look, he's a phenomenal goalkeeper.
He's a good goalkeeper.
Emi Martinez is an
It's
absolutely
mad
phenomenal
especially
goalkeeper.
during penalties.
How mad is it? What age was he until he really got an opportunity at Arsenal?
28.
28.
Yeah,
Like, that's
something
crazy
like
how good he is.
He's just an elite shithouser, really.
Yeah,
He is.
He is so good.
Complete.
At it.
He is football
And
shithouse.
you have to respect, to a degree, you do have to respect shithouser.
Okay, well that's it.
But
It can just be so infuriating
I
sometimes.
know, but know your place. You play for Aston Villa.
do you see the size
No
of the...
disrespect to Aston Villa, and one massive club, one of the biggest clubs in England.
Yeah.
But know your place, Emi Martinez.
But see the size of the goalkeeper for the Dutch. I was thinking, he's going to be so hard to beat.
Yeah.
But actually,
They
he
didn't.
never got a hand on any. He didn't really. I just thought he would have done better.
The only
to be honest.
one he went the right way for was
The miss.
Enzo Fernandez one. I'm sure
Aye.
you put it wide anyway.
Yeah.
So
Where's Tim Krul? You need him like.
Exactly.
I know, of course.
Although there was a nice story about the two Dutch keepers. So obviously, Pasveer, he was signed as Ajax's third choice goalkeeper, I think last season. Ended up becoming, they had two really, really bad injuries to goalkeepers, so he ended up becoming the first choice keeper. Ends up at 38, 39. He's been selected for the World Cup. I love stories like that. And their actual starting keeper then, it's Noppert, you call him, isn't it? Yeah. He didn't have a club.
Seen that?
He's only had a club from last January.
Yeah, he was thinking about quitting football
He was
altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he kept, is it that IO Ten Hag or what do you call that team? IO Den Hag or
Ten
something?
Hag or something.
No.
Isn't it?
I can't remember the name of them,
They're
but
green and yellow. Aren't
They're
they?
green and yellow,
And they
yeah.
have like the bird and the
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Did Portugal manage him?
he might have.
Yeah.
He might have. But he played the last 15 games of the season for them. Not last season, the season before. Ended up getting 9 man of the matches. Kept them up by a point. And in those 15 games, he made 8 penalty saves. And then I think he transferred to, I don't know who he's playing for at the minute. I think it's like PSV or somewhat, like one of those better sides.
No,
anyway.
it's not PSV.
Or is it like FC Twente or someone like that there?
No, I can picture the crest, but I don't know who it is.
Feyenoord.
No, I heard that story. That.
But anyway, he's
done
doing
well.
But
something.
he's been completely fantastic. But did you see did you see Silason's tweet
No,
about the goalkeeper
Oh, no.
Oh,
situation?
yes, it is, yes.
He was like, you'll pick a guy that didn't have a club for 4 years ahead of picking me, an established international goalkeeper.
He plays for Herenveen, by the way.
Oh, Herenveen.
But see, the only thing about it is, I'm just saying the penalties. I thought he'd do better, but in the World Cup he was good.
Yeah, so
Because he's so
yeah.
big.
Yeah.
In nets, he's 6'8".
Yeah.
He's hard to get past. So that tweet was just sore, really.
It was.
That's just.
Well, look, I have to ask the question: is Messi going to get his World Cup?
No.
He's not.
You don't think so? No.
No, Cristiano Ronaldo's going to get no, I don't think he is. I have France in the sweepstake. France aren't going to get the World Cup either. I think Morocco's going to do it.
It'd be lovely to see, like, what?
I
Morocco
genuinely
will be the
do
one.
think Morocco's going to do it.
Yeah.
It will be nice to see.
But it's Messi's best chance.
It is.
100% it's Messi's best chance.
They should be beating Croatia.
Yeah.
Even though I just put Croatia down, put them down, and they always come out with these results. But
It's the same with Morocco. Not
Yeah.
one of us has
I
given
know.
Morocco a chance.
I haven't backed them one game. I don't
And,
think.
well,
See-
apart from against Spain.
I backed them against Spain.
You back him against Spain.
Good lad.
Dorman definitely didn't back them against
Lad, it
Spain.
shows how good they were. They beat Portugal, Spain. I
know
gotta
they
back
beat
them now to win
they
the World
beat the
Cup.
world champions.
know.
Spain.
Future world champions. It was all there.
See, I sort of have a narrative in my head though, and I'm seeing an Argentina-France final,
See 'em.
and it's Messi passing the baton to Mbappe.
Mbappe.
And once he passes the baton to Mbappe, that's it. It's Mbappe dominance now for the next 10, 12 years, however long it's going to
Mbappe
be.
has won a World Cup already.
He has.
Yeah.
He's done the one thing Messi couldn't do, but that's the narrative I have in my head. I think if he has 2 World Cups by the age of 23, wow,
That'd be
you
crazy.
can't really dispute that fact.
He's 23 and he's already a legend of the game.
He is.
Yeah.
But like Messi played really well too. And I actually
He
thought he
did.
would struggle, but that pass for the goal obviously stepped up for the penalty.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Do you know who I
he's
wanna give a-
delivered. He's delivered.
Do you know who I want to give a shout out to as well, though? He's really surprised me. Alexis McAllister.
Yeah.
Baller. Absolute baller.
Don't get me wrong. Like you watch him every week in the Premier League, and he's okay.
Oh, he's good. Oh, no, I think he's good. I think
No, for Brighton, he's good.
Yeah, he's been
I've
Brighton's man.
slagged. To be fair, I've slagged Argentina's midfield. So
But you
Yeah,
don't think
but-
Alexis McAllister
No,
could
he-
go to
no, that's
someone
what
else
I'm
and be unreal?
I don't.
Yeah,
See,
Yeah,
that's
he
what I don't know, Warren.
Oh, he could. He
no,
is
he is good.
phenomenal.
Anytime I've seen Brighton play, he is probably their best player.
Yeah, oh,
Like,
100%.
he is very good. Yeah.
I think he could go to anybody in the Premier League and start.
Even earlier in the year,
Even
that
so.
spell, he was unreal. Like,
Yeah, oh yeah,
he's been
class.
good. Like, he's been good this year.
Yeah, McAllister, in the past couple of years,
But I get
he's
what you're
been
saying
Brighton's
about
main man. Like,
I get what you're saying about though. Like, you wouldn't expect him to be lighting up, not
No,
lighting up, but playing well
yeah,
at the World Cup.
like, he's- but
that's
he's
the
playing
next
beside
level.
He's playing beside Messi, and you're looking at him, and you're going, "Poof,
Doesn't look
Yeah, he
like
doesn't
this.
look at this.
but you know what? Fair play to Brighton.
good player."
Brighton have had so many
They
players at
picked
this
up
World
players
Cup,
so
Yeah.
well.
and they're all performing well at club level. And fair play to them. That's why they've got to the World Cup.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like the likes of Trossard there as well. They're not there just because there's a lack of name or a lack of numbers in these national sides. They're there because they're genuinely good
Players.
players,
Yeah.
and because the national team managers trust them to do a job for them.
Yep.
So fair play to Brighton.
Oh, definitely. Well, look, we'll move it on to Saturday's games then. Look, again, another massive shock. We have not given them a single chance in any game. Well, Owen did. Owen did, to be fair. Owen gave them a chance, but the Moroccans, what a fairy tale, really, when you think about it.
First African team ever to reach a semi-final of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Do you know, I think that's a terrible stat, though. How has no African side ever, like, not ever made it to a World Cup semi-final? Like when you think of some of the great African teams, like, how is it only now that we're seeing, and like,
Luis Suarez.
Morocco weren't even the champions of Africa.
I know. They lost
You
on
know?
penalties, didn't they, to Egypt? But like they've done it the hard way too. It's not like they're just got an easy
Aye, yeah,
draw.
yeah.
They've been
Yeah.
beaten,
Beaten
quality
Croatia.
international opposition.
Yep.
Belgium, or they drew Croatia, beat Belgium, beat Spain, beat
Portugal.
Portugal.
Yeah.
You know, and even Canada. Like I don't want to listen back to our predictions, boys, because I think I give them absolutely zero chance.
All of us
even
did,
to get out of
Connor.
that group.
Yeah, look, I would say none of us
All
gave
of us
them a
did.
chance.
Not a chance, you know. But do you know what? That defense and like your boy Amrabat in midfield has been sensational.
They just don't concede.
They don't concede
No.
goals.
The only person who scored against Morocco in this World Cup is a
Moroccan,
Moroccan.
yeah.
And he-
They've conceded one own goal against Canada, and that is it.
Yeah.
And they have been playing high quality
Yeah.
teams with quality attackers. And they just
Even like
don't
their
ship goals.
like their centre back, he was suspended. The one that plays for West Ham, and
Aguerd.
you know their backup centre back comes in and plays a stormer. Like it just like the manager deserves credit too because he's
Oh,
got
absolutely.
the system right. You know,
Absolutely.
But I seen something on Twitter too. It was like in 2007 they put 12 million into the academy and they've been working closely with Leon and all. Like they have prepared for this. They were ready for
Did
this.
you see their facilities?
Oh, it's
Oh,
Unreal.
It's
Four-
incredible.
Unbelievable.
Four 5-star hotels,
It's
8 FIFA approved
incredible.
pitches.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
They spent the money wisely.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have. And you know what? They're reaping the rewards now.
Exactly, they
Because I think you look through that squad and there are players there. They're playing in Europe's top 5 leagues for a reason.
Yeah.
They have some serious talent within that side. Like it's like we talked about. We did a quick parlay the other day talking about Morocco. Like, look, Ziyech. I always loved Ziyech. I loved him at Ajax. See when we talk about passing the eye test. Some of the things Ziyech used to do were crazy. See them big crossfield passes.
Insane.
Yeah.
And he made it look so effortless. Then he signed for Chelsea and he's looked a complete shadow of himself.
I know.
Then you watch him in the World Cup. It's like
He's
watching that Ajax Ziyech
Do you know
again.
what that is though? That's a lack of trust.
Yeah.
The managers at Chelsea just haven't trusted Ziyech, and they haven't gave him, like they haven't trusted him to go and express himself. Because
Yeah.
that's what he is.
Yeah.
He's an expressive player. He's a playmaker. That's when he's best. That's when he's at his best. Like Ziyech was linked with United there before we got Anthony. He was linked as a quick fix for United. And I was like, oh my God,
Take him.
get him in any day of the week. Because under Ten Hag, he'll be allowed to do what he wants to do. It's showing in this World Cup. He's being given that freedom. He's been Morocco's best player, in my opinion.
Well, I don't think he's been as good as Hakimi, to be honest.
Yeah.
Amrabat's been good too, but he has been one of their best players.
No, look, I know they've been good, but in my opinion, he's been the best player because he's created everything.
Yeah.
He's been the one swinging in the balls. Obviously, Hakimi's been there to help him out in defence and stuff. But like between him and Al Nasseri or whatever you call him up front,
Yeah.
that's been a great connection. Like Hakim Ziyech's really showing his qualities.
Well, Al Nasseri is now actually maybe starting to realise that potential. You know, I
Yeah.
remember when he signed for Sevilla, like he was coming off a couple of seasons where he had scored a lot of goals, and he's sort of been his Sevilla career's been up and down. Injury hasn't helped, obviously, but you know, he had that breakout season where he scored a lot of goals for Sevilla. Then he had the injury and he's dipped off, and he's not really been the same player since. But he's come to this World Cup and he's probably as clinical as he's ever been right now.
Thing I was just going to say about Ziyech as well, he wasn't there for the African Cup of Nations because he had fallen out with the previous manager.
Yeah.
Right?
They
That's
then
right.
sacked him, and this new manager's come in and he's just introduced him back in.
Yeah.
That shows
So
the chairmans and all.
Doesn't that show how key
their
he is
trust,
as well?
yeah.
Because
The sack
if
the
he'd have been
manager
there at
because
the
of him.
African Cup of Nations, it could have been a different story for them. Because if he wasn't at this World Cup,
Yeah.
there's no way they'd be in the semi-finals.
But look, I'm watching guys that have played in the Premier League that I didn't rate,
yeah,
like the likes of Buffal. Looks fantastic.
oh, he was so poor at Southampton. Like
He was
yeah,
awful
he
at
was
Southampton,
awful.
but he looks unbelievable. Like, it just seems as though they have the players that suit the system and that can carry out the manager's instructions realistically.
And they've
Buffon-
got that dog in them.
Yeah,
They want to
they're
win.
willing to scrap to
Yeah.
win.
You see how much it means to them
Yeah.
when the full time whistle was blown. Like all of them dropped to the ground together. Though they all hugged each other.
Yeah.
Everybody in that squad is together. There's no big name stars. Like I know you got Ziyech and Hakimi, but even they're just part of that team. They're just a collective.
Yeah.
There's one goal and they're all working towards it. There's
Yes.
no me. There's no me's in that team.
Yes.
But like even the fans have helped as well.
Oh, they
It's
pushed them on.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
They pushed
in
them
the
on.
The
crowd.
Right
Moroccan
time.
sport has been
been
fantastic.
Fantastic. Honestly, I would like to just point out as well, I think there's no qualms about it anymore. I think Hakimi's the best right back in the world.
Yeah.
I really,
Yeah.
really do. I'm so glad people are seeing him on the world stage now. I've watched PSG in the Champions League quite a lot over the last couple of years, and the one player I was always impressed with was Hakimi. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't get over just how good he was. And look, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, all the clubs that he's played for. Like, he hasn't played for the biggest clubs in the world for no reason. He is absolutely phenomenal. His defending is excellent. He's always switched on. He has that ridiculous recovery pace. And yes, I know we say, you know, maybe players are a wee bit of a pace merchant, but at the end of the day, you'd rather be incredibly fast than incredibly slow. And he has that ability. If he does switch off for a second and leaves his man, well, you can probably bet your ass he's going to catch up with him and win the ball back. His attacking dynamic is fantastic as well. Him and Ziyech have a real partnership down that wing, and I just think there's no question about it.
Strong.
Like,
But that's
so
really,
strong,
really
lad.
strong.
That's the thing
So
about Hakimi
strong.
too, is like he's always been known kind of for his attacking game, but the defensive, I didn't think he was this good defensively, but he has been unbelievable
Yeah.
at this tournament, and I think he's shown he's one of the best right backs in the world. If it probably is the best at the minute.
I would just say on current form, I think he is the
Yeah,
best
he
right
is.
back.
And he's
in
still
the
very
world.
young, isn't he?
He's only 23.
23. I think that's mad.
No, we touched on it a couple of weeks ago. Like Morocco's team, when you actually look at the players, they've got some great players.
Yeah.
Like, and once again, Bono with the heroics against Portugal.
Yeah,
He's been absolutely phenomenal.
There's one save he made from was it Joe Felix?
Mm.
Ronaldo laid it off to him
Yes.
about just inside from the right side of the backs, and he just hit the inside of the boot curler and just felt, oh, it's going top bag, it's gonna be a great goal. Bono out of nowhere, kept it out.
Kept it out.
Save.
We'd be stupid to bet against Morocco now.
You would be.
We really
You
would
would
be.
be.
Yeah.
You would
'Cause-
be.
Which I probably will, but
We've been betting against them the entire
The
time,
entire time.
and they've been making us look like fools.
Literally, we've always said
Yeah.
it's a step too far, and it's just hasn't
But-
been.
We'll have to look at how poor Portugal were.
Yeah.
Portugal were
very poor.
brutal.
Can I be honest though? I thought Portugal were playing the better football up until Ronaldo come on. Once Ronaldo come on, that was it for me. It was, oh, we have to try and get the ball to Ronaldo, and then he slows the whole thing down, and then they're not as expressive. I thought at least in the first half they were still being expressive with the football. They were trying at least they were trying different things. They were trying to get the ball. I thought Bruno was excellent in the first half. I really, really did. I couldn't understand why he went to the Ronaldo plan so early.
I suppose they needed a goal, like,
Yeah.
and who better to bring on than the best goal scorer in history?
The problem, my biggest issue with Portugal in that game was they hit the panic button way too early. From about the 70th minute on, it was hoof.
Yeah.
Like,
And they didn't have a Weghorst up front
No.
to bring that down.
No.
They don't have a big, tall
it
striker.
just made no sense. Morocco was dominating the air. They're so strong defensively. Get the ball to the byline and cut it back across the box. That's where you're going to get your goals. Portugal's best chance, the one Pepe missed, came from a ball in the box. Rafael Leao picked it up at the byline and cut it back across the box. They just, like, there's one time the ball went forward and it went to the Portuguese goalkeeper and he could have taken touch, played the ball, kept possession, didn't even look, hoofed it
Just hoofed
straight
it.
up in the
remember
air.
seeing that.
Morocco headed it back, came back to him, hoofed it straight back up in the air, and it was his fault for the goal, the Portuguese goalkeeper. We haven't touched on it yet, but if you're a goalkeeper and you come that far off your line,
You need to get
you
that
have
ball.
to make that ball.
Yeah, you do.
Like, he waited for it to come. He seen where the ball was. He put his hands up and he waited for the ball to come to his hands. And the Surrey just goes, right, fair enough. You're not coming for it. I'm going to header it in then.
Yeah.
Empty net, happy days. And I just can't understand how poor Portugal were mentally, because they played so well against Switzerland.
Yeah.
Expressive, beautiful football. And they just completely abandoned it.
It was a bit like what happened in Brazil as well, wasn't it? They played such good football and then it's just. it's hard
I
to
think
keep it going.
both Brazil and Portugal underestimated their opponents.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look,
And didn't pay off for them.
And how does Leao not start as well, or even get on sooner?
It's the same with Rashford in England.
He's so good. Even when he comes on, he's a threat. He just he even took on. I think it was Hakimi and all. Like he give an actual threat, and he can't get on or even start. It's just mad to me.
it's stupid.
Portugal have no excuse for underestimating their opponents. I can kind of see why Brazil would sort of think we're far better in these space, because Croatia had struggled. They struggled against Japan. But Morocco has shown consistently through this tournament they're going to make you look like a fool if you underestimate them, and Portugal fell right into their trap.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, look, Fernando Santos, he's now left Portugal.
That was always going to happen.
That was always going to happen, yeah, realistically. But look, the one thing I would say about Portugal is they still have the guts of a very, like, a young squad. Like, you wouldn't say their squad's necessarily old. There's a few elder statesmen within that squad, but that won't be at the next World Cup. But I think if they got a manager that was a wee bit more expressive,
Definitely.
I still think Portugal will be absolutely fine. Like, even without Ronaldo, like there's boys there that can still put the ball in the net.
Yeah.
Like, who knows what sort of progress Gonçalo Ramos is going to show now in the next 3 or 4 years? Like, there's no doubting that he could be right at the very
be a good
pinnacle
player,
of football.
definitely.
You know, like, I think by the time the next tournament rolls around, Bruno will be 32. You would still say
Felix
that's a
will be
good. It's still a good
Bruno would still
age.
be in his prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, Felix will be probably better.
Felix will be, what, 27? Like, you know, they still have... Leao will only be 25, 24, somewhere
Like,
around that age, you know.
Out of that team, the only real players who are going to be moving on is obviously Ronaldo and Pepe.
And Pepe.
Who have been at the forefront for Portugal now for 15 years.
Yeah.
Like, they were the men who won them that Euros. But there's new talent coming through
Absolutely.
Portugal don't have to worry, really. Like, as I said, Brazil, this is going to feel like a missed opportunity for Portugal.
Yeah.
They're going to have to get a new manager, and they're going to have to get a manager who will play that exciting football.
Yeah.
That their players are almost built to play, because even their defenders are really good attacking talents. The likes of Guerrero, Cancelo, Diego Dallo.
Yeah.
So, like, Portugal will be okay in the future, but this is probably their best chance to win a World Cup.
Yeah, it is.
No, as you're
Definitely.
saying, they do need a new manager. I think we said that as well. The manager's too defensive.
Far too
He
defensive.
doesn't even play like the right attacking players as
No.
well. And then he pressed, as you said, they panicked. He's just like, oh, just lump it into Ronaldo, just lump it into Ronaldo. It didn't work. And that played into Morocco's hand. That's what they wanted.
Yeah.
So,
Because they knew they were going to be superior in the air.
yeah.
Well, look, we'll move it on to the last of the quarterfinal games. I would like to apologise to my co-hosts. I was adamant that England were going to beat France. I was evidently wrong. Although I will say one thing, I did think England played the better football on the night. I stand by my point that I do feel France are still very much one-dimensional. And ultimately they still got the job done. Look, a number of good performers on the pitch for France the other night. Giroud back amongst the goals. Owen, I'll come to you first. What did you like about him? What do you think he maybe needs to do a wee bit better? Because
What I like about Giroud, absolutely everything.
well, I
lad.
know you like everything
What's,
about him.
what's not to like about Olivier Giroud?
That's the harder question
Did-
to answer.
Did you not think he was a wee bit wasteful though?
No, look, everybody, look, the Brazil and Croatia game is a perfect example of chances. Like, Brazil created a lot of chances. Goalkeeper saved them.
Yes.
Look, on another day, they're goals. Giroud created chances, missed a couple, but the goalkeeper saved a couple too.
Yes.
In the end, he scored the winning goal, and that's all that matters. We always said about Bruno Fernandes how he'll try 20 passes and he might only complete one, but that one's leading to a goal.
Yeah.
Olivier Giroud is just, he's that guy. He is that guy. He's just so good, and he knows where he has to be. Like, Giroud's what, 35, 36?
Oh, he's older.
He's in
Yeah,
around that
36,
anyway.
Yeah.
And he still has that prowess in the box. He knows exactly where to be. He was in the positions to get them chances. And at that age, that's difficult, because we've seen it with loads and loads of players already. Like, he's 35. Look at the likes of Higuain. At that age, he was playing in MLS. Giroud's still playing at the top level.
Yeah.
He's one of the main reasons as to why AC Milan won the league last year, bringing AC Milan back to where they should be, that great AC Milan. He's just phenomenal, and it shows why he is France's all-time leading top goal scorer.
Yeah.
Because everybody plays off him, and you can play off him. His whole play is just that good. He doesn't need to have pace. He knows if he gets the ball, he's going to at least hit that on target, if not hit the back of the net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think all his teammates know that too, and I think that's such an important thing, because they have confidence in their striker.
Yeah.
No, they kept him on as well.
Shows.
They kept him on. Do you know, I think it was one of the games earlier in the tournament they took him off, but they understand how key he is. Them runs he makes, just unbelievable. Like,
Top performer.
it's
going
just mad, because I didn't actually think he'd be that key, because I thought maybe Benzema
Yeah.
would have been playing. He's injured. Giroud steps up.
But look, Benzema probably would have had the same effect, if not a better effect.
Yeah.
Let's be real, Benzema is a better player. We're not. There's no quibbles about that. He's just won the Ballon d'Or. But I just, going back to the start of our World Cup series, when me and Owen said Giroud's going to be a top performer, I got a lot of messages saying, like, "What are you smoking, lad?" Do you know what I mean? But look, it showed. You just have to have confidence in players like that, because they've always done it. So why would you not show confidence in them now?
Yeah.
It's the same with Ronaldo, really. Like, before the tournament, if all this stuff hadn't happened with United, if he had been putting up a couple of goals for United, I still would have thought, oh, Ronaldo could be top goal scorer at the World Cup. Yeah. But yeah, Olivier Giroud, he's a timeless striker, one of the best of our generation, and he's criminally underrated. And I'm just glad people are finally seeing, especially at his age, he can still do it.
He has aged like fine wine.
Oh yeah.
Look, Cara, I know you're saying you still feel France are about one-dimensional. I'm going to disagree with you there, because I think Giroud gives them that entirely different dimension. Giroud is completely different from any other attacking option France has. Like, he doesn't have the pace, but as Orange said, he's a goal scorer. Like, he had a great chance against England. Pickford saved it. He probably should have scored the volley. Ball goes out for corner. 25 seconds later, he's out in that corner celebrating, scoring the winning goal to put his country in the World Cup semi-final. And as you said, England probably were the better team, but that's what the good strikers are like. When their team needs them, like, I think I tweeted out there and goes, when his nation needed them, Olivier Giroud stepped up, and that's what he did. He grabbed that game by the balls, and he took his goal, and he made sure France were getting into the World Cup semi-final.
Yeah.
Look, I understand what you're saying. I really, really do. And I'm not just saying this to go against. Like, I'm really, really not. I think Giroud's fantastic as well. I really do. But I worry for France. I really, really do. I think we've been quick to praise them at times this tournament, to be completely honest. I just don't see enough to say that they're going to be champions of the world. I really
but
don't,
the
to
only
be
thing is,
honest.
You
Like.
need to look at their squad as well, Connor. Like, they're missing so many players.
But again, I think that's a factor as to why they're not going to be world champions.
Yeah, no, I agree with that to a certain degree. Like, but like, look where they are. They're in a World Cup semi-final with this lack of squad depth. Like, they've got Rabiot starting in midfield. Look, Rabiot is a good player, and he always does play well for
Rabiot's
France.
been fantastic,
And he
for
has
this
been
World
good,
Yeah.
but he's not Pogba.
No.
And they're missing Kante,
Can't is big.
Yeah.
and they're missing Benzema. They're missing Nkunku.
I know.
Like, these players, if them players were in the team, but it was the same player scoring, you'd be saying different. You'd be saying, oh look, no, they have that kind of caliber of player that can be world champions. There's no reason why France can't. They're in a World Cup semi-final.
Look,
That's
over the entire competition, I feel France have been the most consistent team. Like, yeah, they lost to Tunisia. It was their B team. They knew they're near their through anyway. There's no real love that lost there. By far the better team against Australia. Were by far the better team against a very good Denmark team who we tipped to go deep. With nobody really expect that Denmark team to go out and
Finish bottom of the group.
Finish bottom of the group. And against Poland, they're fantastic. Okay, they were off the boil a wee bit against England, but it was such a big game. It was a game that was there to be won. It wasn't a game there to impress everybody and show how great we are. It was a game to be won, and that's what France did.
But I just think, Owen, like on Friday's episode, we said, and Connor, you were specifically, very adamant that they had this world-class defence. They look leaky.
No, the thing
They,
is,
they don't look as good as I think people are making them out to be
No,
completely honest.
but what I said
I
on
agree with you
Friday
there.
was
I agree
kind
with
of
you
like, it's England, I thought, had the better squad, but France can just grind out them results. And I know you're saying about they look leaky, but I thought England were definitely the better team. I think there's no argument about that. I actually didn't think, I thought France were brutal. And I had backed France. I still think France won the World Cup because I do think they have some good players. I thought Griezmann was great as well, but I thought that I was very disappointed in France, and I agree with you. You were actually quite right, but as we said, when's the last time England beat a top nation?
Not
Yeah,
a big
you know,
nation.
But
Yeah.
I looked over the last three major tournaments there. So obviously this World Cup, the teams they beat. They beat Senegal.
Yeah.
They beat Iran. They beat Wales. Mm-hmm. Lost to France, which, with the utmost respect to those three countries, is the first big nation they came across.
Okay.
In the Euros, they beat Croatia. Mm-hmm. That's a good result. They drew with Scotland. And they beat the Czech Republic in their group. Mm-hmm. They then beat Ukraine. They beat Denmark. And they beat Germany, in fairness to them. And they beat Italy. So a good result against Germany. But every single year that result against Germany starts to look a wee bit worse.
Yeah.
When you see the state that Germany's
the state
national
that
football.
Germany's in, yeah.
But I
yeah.
give them, Germany's probably is a big team. That's a big statement knockout win for them.
Yeah.
But you go back to the previous World Cup. They beat Panama. They beat Tunisia. They beat Colombia. And they beat Sweden. They played Belgium twice. Lost twice. And they played Croatia. They're just not built to win big games in tournaments. Yeah. Even going further back, I don't know. Since 1966, I don't think they've beat what anybody would classify as a
big team,
as a tier 1 international side in
Yeah.
the World Cup. They just seem to have this inability to win the big games.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you compare it to Croatia, since 1988 they've been beating Brazil, they've been beating Germany in the World Cup.
Yeah.
You compare it to Morocco since last week, they
Yeah.
beat Spain and Portugal in the World Cup.
Yeah.
England aren't getting results like these in major tournaments, and that's really concerning because they clearly have the talent, they clearly have the players. As you said, they were the better team against France. But what did they create from open play?
They didn't create a whole
Yeah.
pile,
Like
to be fair.
Harry Kane had that one time where he spun Ubin and was a good save from
Yes.
Lloris.
Yeah.
Harry Maguire had that header just went wide of the post.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was long shots. That you need, there have to be a moment of individual brilliance to go in. Lloris made a couple of good saves from them, but they're all straight at him.
Well, that's what I was going to say, and I'm not trying to be argumentative with you, Richie, but you said about France's defence being quite leaky. Apart from two stupid mistakes, like that penalty that Hernandez gave away
so
was
stupid.
so
What was he
stupid.
doing? Yeah, that
Like,
was
what was he
blind.
doing?
Yeah,
Like,
that was
Not
dumb.
gonna score.
bar two penalties, as Owen said, there only was really that Harry Kane chance and Maguire. Everything else, they remained quite solid, and they did resort to long shots. England, so like just out of complete curiosity, not argumentative. What is it that you see is leaky about that defence?
With the France
Yeah,
defence.
is it just that there is a stupid mistake in them?
I find that because they're so young, there is that sort of inexperience, and that, like take Upamecano for example, he does tend to step out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Now, I think if you're a defender that steps out, and the first defender that steps out that comes to my mind is Lisandro Martinez, because I see it on a week in, week out basis. You have to be aggressive, and you have to believe that you're going to be the first to that ball. And I think Martinez does that really, really well. Normally does come out with the ball 9 times out of 10. Upamecano tried to step out 3 or 4 times and was second to the ball each of those 3 or 4 times that he stepped out. There is a real lack of aggression with a player like that. I think Theo Hernandez is fantastic going forward, doesn't offer a whole pile defensively. I think wingers will torture him when they get past him. Don't get me wrong, again, he's one of those players that has that blistering recovery pace, but see his like actual defensive awareness, I think it's brutal. Koundé is a centre back that's playing at right back.
I thought he was okay.
He was all right.
I
But,
do.
like,
I do.
you can't keep running a centre back and right back and hoping that that's going to work. I think the only one out of the back four that was solid in terms of like consistent with her performance was Varane. But again, I've watched Varane for United, and he has a clanger in him as well. He tends to just drift. See, the problem with playing a centre back at right back, especially the likes of Koundé, is he's going to want to tuck in because that's his natural position. So what I noticed with any of England's attacks down the left hand side the other night, Koundé would tend to tuck in quite a bit, and it leaves a big gap that allows wingers to sort of come in and get that ball across the box. Then yes, it means you have more bodies in the box that can deal with it, but I just think if you give a world class winger time and space on that flank that Koundé is supposed to be defending, teams will punish you.
But see, I agree with you that up in Meccano, I thought he was poor. I don't actually know how he starts because I don't read him, but I thought Hernandez was actually the one where the Saka every time was just on him, and they could not deal with that. I couldn't believe Southgate took him off. For England, they were the better team, but I think that's where I would talk about defensive frailties. I think we had mentioned it too. That is their biggest weakness. They made two massive errors. I think for the goal, Declan Rice got caught out because he got caught inside. Concede the goal. Jumani, it was a good shot.
It was a good shot, yeah.
I seen Ben Foster actually said he has to save that. He has to save that
when
shot.
I first seen it, I thought so too. But then when you see it from his angle, from Pickford's angle, there was a couple of bodies in front of him.
People standing.
But what he said was it was something to do with like the way the ball turned. He should have been ready for it. And then for the second goal, Maguire doesn't track Giroud. Like, I know Giroud does a great run and all, but he catches him too late. I think it deflects off him, doesn't it?
Yeah,
the header.
comes off Maguire.
It's just too late. And there's the 2 goals, and that's why you're out of the tournament.
Yeah.
And you were the better team, you have a better squad. And I was going to say about Southgate as well, you know, you're losing there. I thought he maybe left the subs a bit too late because the game was there to be won. And also, he doesn't bring on Maddison, he doesn't bring on Grealish, he doesn't bring on Arnold, who all are creative. He leaves Rashford. When did Rashford come on? Like the
80-something minutes.
Like, that's criminal, like,
ridiculous.
for a lad who's playing so well.
Absolutely
I thought and then he brings on Sterling and Mount. I know Mount got the penalty, but like, Mount has not been playing that well this season, even for Chelsea.
No.
And Sterling has not been good either. So
well, sure, Sterling was in London all this week.
He was in London all this week, and I just don't know. I think Southgate, it was a good performance and all, but I thought his subs were just. I think that was a big mistake he made as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, not only who he brought on, but also who he brought off. Why would you bring Saka off?
Saka
was the most dangerous player on that pitch.
Yeah.
It made no sense. I'm just going to go back to France's first goal. You said about Declan Rice going the ground and he shouldn't have. Yeah. That kind of all came from the fear of Mbappe that was built up and built up and built up. And that's going to get into the camp. All that was coming out of England was talking about how they're going to stop Mbappe. That Southgate's had this Mbappe plan for 5 years or whatever it is. Like, when Mbappe got that ball for the first goal and ran from the left wing over to the right hand side of the box, about 8 England players
swarmed out towards him.
Completely sucked him. He was inside the box, and I think there was 8 England players inside the box, all towards him. So it's always going to be the easy thing to do is cut at the edge of the box, and when you players who can hit a ball like Tukamani, it's going to be no bread and butter to him.
Yeah,
it was just this fear of Mbappe that they completely built up, and you seen like Henderson and Walker before Mbappe put the hand out.
I know, when he didn't shake his hand.
They're all sitting looking straight ahead, like, oh, I don't care about you, I don't care about you. All that is saying is giving Mbappe the message like, these guys are shit scared of me.
Yeah,
but I thought they done well on Mbappe though.
I think they actually kept him quiet. But
I think we said as well, like you were saying, I think in the team, the Griezmann had been one of the key performers, and I had said that I thought they would have left Mbappe, as you were saying. They went too much on Mbappe, and Griezmann was just there just to.
I pick up.
And he got 2 assists.
Yeah.
You know, he was the key. Griezmann was the key.
I
understand your point on Mbappe. I thought they done well on him, but as you're saying, they were like basically triple marking him.
Yeah, like by focusing on Mbappe, they forgot about Griezmann.
Right,
they forgot about Giroud, and they left him open, and that's what killed them.
Griezmann's another man that is underrated. Like, I know he hasn't been playing as well for Atletico Madrid, but he's a good player. Even
well this World
He's
Cup.
had a good World Cup.
Even I think it was Euros 2016. He was like one of their best players. He has been a good player for a while.
Yeah,
so.
Griezmann is an elite level player when he's on it. Yeah. The problem is these last couple of years he just hasn't been on it all that often. But like he's still a top player. Right, I think we'll look ahead to the semi-finals then. So, semi-final number 1. I think this is the Tuesday game. I could be wrong.
Argentina game.
It's Argentina and Croatia, isn't it? It's the first one, isn't it? Yeah. So Argentina, Croatia. Look, I know we said earlier you just don't think Messi's going to get his World Cup fantasy. Does he get through Croatia, or do Croatia surprise us once again? What are you thinking, Owen?
Croatia win.
You're thinking Croatia, yeah.
I'm just going to stop not predicting them, not giving them a chance, because a wee bit of me wanted to predict them against Brazil, but I decided against it, and I watched it. It's like, oh, I could have looked like an absolute G if I had said this.
Owen says to me, if Jeff Stelling died in the morning, Sky Sports would have been phoning him.
I didn't say that. I said Jeff Stelling's out with a hand injury right now. They need somebody to step in. Look, I just feel Croatia have been here and they know how to dig out results.
Yeah.
And my fear of Argentina is they haven't been killing teams off. And you see what Brazil didn't kill Croatia off, what happened? Japan didn't kill Croatia off, what happened?
Yeah, exactly.
England didn't kill Croatia off 4 years ago, what happened? So I'm giving Croatia a chance, and I think Croatia will beat them.
Look, you have the losing finalists, the runners-up in 2014 versus the runners-up in 2018 here. Oren, what are you thinking?
I'm backing against Croatia again, to be honest.
You're going to back against them?
Yeah. I think Messi... I think after that Argentina game, and especially Argentina and Netherlands game, and especially the way it did eventually pan out, I think they're angry, Argentina. I think they have that anger in them, and they're going to go out and make sure this time that we win this game.
Yeah.
We were talking about how feisty it was in that game, and especially after Argentina did eventually win in penalties, first thing they done was run past the Netherlands players and scream in their face and celebrate in their face. Otamendi, yeah. Well, all of them.
Class.
Yeah. There's a photo that probably will go down in history, especially if Argentina win this World Cup. And I just think Messi's going to try. I've seen Messi in his post-game conference, and I've never seen him as angry. Messi's usually so composed, even after a defeat. You always see Messi being quite composed in the press, but he was shouting away. He wasn't focused on his interview. He was shouting at other people and Weghorst and Van Gaal and all. Yeah. So I just think Messi's going to be like, right, fuck it, let's go. Let's do this. Look, it could be a good game. We were saying about last week, Netherlands and Argentina, I thought it was going to be a great game. I don't think this is going to be a good game. I think it will be 1-0.
I agree with you there. I think it's going to be a horrible game of football.
But I think it's just going to be two dogs slugging at each other. Yeah. And I think they're both going to set up quite defensive, but I think Argentina will pip them.
Yeah.
Well, Argentina do have that quality. Yeah. But I just feel Croatia have that dog in them.
Oh, yeah. No. Look, I'm not disagreeing with your opinion. I just personally think Argentina's going to.
But I agree with you. I think it's just going to be like two heavyweights just slugging.
Yeah. Just slugging, yeah. Connor, then what do you think? Who are you backing for the game?
All my predictions have been right so far, so just bet against me, lads. Bet against me. I'm gonna or you don't want to hear this. I'm gonna go for Argentina.
What are you? Oh my God.
No, I meant like because you don't want to hear that because we're gonna both be wrong. No, I'm going Argentina. I'm going Argentina because I do think as it's gonna be a dogfight, but I've backed against Croatia like every game, and I'm gonna stick to it. And I think Argentina are the better team, and I think Messi has been brilliant. I think if they do get to the final, he will get the player of the tournament.
Do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, and I just think Argentina's a better team, and I'm just gonna. If it actually be hilarious if it went to penalties because they're both so good at penalties. Who would win that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll go Argentina.
Go Argentina. I think I'm gonna go. Part of me is like, don't back against the underdog anymore, but for the narrative I have in my head, I do think it's going to be a France and Argentina final at this stage. So I'm going to go Argentina. I'm going to go for the same reason that you two have. Owen, I absolutely agree with you. Croatia still have that dog in them, and it will not shock me in the slightest if Croatia beat Argentina. But I think Argentina just have that quality, and I mean, when you have one man like Messi, you can absolutely win the game. And I've been surprised, I thought against the Dutch, Argentina, a load of guys that I've given a lot of stick to in recent weeks actually played quite well. I thought Rodrigo de Paul actually played very, very well against the Dutch.
All right, Rodrigo, I hope you're enjoying the ball.
Welcome back, Rodrigo.
I just think Argentina maybe have a wee bit too much for them. The only thing I would say is like the Croatian midfield is absolutely excellent. I think Croatia's midfield's much better than Argentina's, to be completely honest. That's the one area of the pitch I think Croatia can dominate the ball a wee bit. But I think Argentina have too much for them ultimately, and I'm going to go Argentina.
Do you know who's buzzing that you said that? McYardle. he's buzzing that everybody's going Argentina and
Yeah,
he's going
he's gonna be
Croatia.
right. That's what I'm
Because if
saying.
Croatia win, he's going to be like, oh,
I
lads,
told you,
predict
lads.
the pace. Oh, monster stroke, Jeff Stelly, whatever. But you see if Croatia lose, lad, you look like a dick.
And you'll be let know that you're a dick.
Lad,
But Owen, what did you go last week for predictions?
I got 1 out of 4.
Just be prepared for the next episode.
Connor,
lad, if
what did
Croatia
you
lose.
come out with
I went
last
one
week?
for
1
4.
out of 4.
Yeah, but I'm not going around saying, I know.
Look, guys, 95% of the time I look like a dick anyway. So if I get a chance to not look like a dick for 2 seconds, I'm gonna do it. The only thing a bit of fear for Croatia really is Croatia's played 2 extra time games, 2 penalty shootouts in a condensed World Cup. They played a lot of football, and that could come back to bite them. So that is a bit of a caveat for Croatia.
Especially with the age of some of their players.
Yeah, like there's no real break between this. Like
Yeah.
usually like you're getting a couple of days between the group stage last 16. It started like that.
Yeah.
Like you've had 2-day break as the most between games really.
Yeah.
Like this is the longest break we've had. So
And like Modric played like the whole 120.
yeah,
Yeah,
they kept
they
Modric.
did.
They didn't do that against Japan, but they did.
They took them off, didn't they?
They took Modric off,
Yeah.
but they played him the entire time against Brazil.
Yeah.
So that could come back to bite Croatia, but also the emotion that Argentina expressed could also come back to bite them a wee bit. So I think it will be a really
It's
tight,
interesting.
contested game.
It's definitely
a
an
good game.
interesting contest. Right, I'll move to Wednesday's game then. Obviously, Morocco and the French. I'm going to go Morocco, personally. I'm not backing against them anymore. Although I have the narrative in my head of a France-Argentina final, I am still holding out hope that Morocco go all the way and win the tournament. I think it would be fantastic for football. It would be like when Leicester won the league.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there was nobody in football that didn't want that to happen.
Apart from Dorman.
Except for Connor.
He hates
He hits the underdog.
Every underdog hit them.
Funny, you know, there's a clip going viral at the minute now. I don't know if you have seen it. It's been all over Twitter today. It's an Australian guy on a podcast talking, and he's saying he would much rather see a Brazil and Argentina semi-final. He'd rather see the best teams in the world go at it rather than these underdogs all getting to this point of the tournament. Look, I'm just going to come to you quickly on that because I think it's really interesting. It's a viral clip. It's doing the rounds at the minute. What's your take on something like that? Would you rather see the big boys still in the competition, or do you think that the teams who've got here on merit deserve to be here? What would you rather see, Oren?
I'd rather see the underdog. Like, I fully agree with you. I have the narrative that it's going to be a French and Argentina final. I have France in the sweepstake. So, look, if they win, happy days. But I want Morocco to win. I want to see Morocco win this World Cup. Like, I don't understand. Like, I always think about the Bundesliga and Ligue 1. Look, obviously, Lille won Ligue 1 the other year, or a few years ago. It was a bit of a shock to everybody. But you're always expecting Bayern Munich to win the Bundesliga, and you're always expecting PSG to win Ligue 1.
Yeah.
There's no real competition there.
Serie A was the same for a few years there.
Serie A
it was
the same.
Juventus.
It was Juventus all the time. I love seeing someone else come into the fold.
Yeah.
And like, I think obviously the Premier League's been dominated with Man City and Liverpool the last few years. But at least there's been a bit of competition, and there's been a competition between at least 2 teams.
Yeah.
All them other 2 leagues especially, you're expecting them to win the league. You're expecting them to go out and blitz every team 5-0 and 4-0 and all. I just like seeing other teams come into the fold because it's good for their players too. It's good for their managers because you're seeing different teams in the Champions League. You're seeing different teams in the Europa League, and that's what you want to see because you want to be a football fan. You don't want to be a Bayern Munich fan. You don't want to be a Juventus fan, well, a few years ago, and you don't want to be a PSG fan. You want to be a football fan. You want to appreciate football of all teams, not just the ones with the most money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that sentiment quite a lot. Owen, I'll come to you now next. What's your take on it? Would you rather see the likes of Brazil and stuff still in the tournament, or are you happy with teams like Morocco getting to this stage?
I feel Morocco, Croatia deserve to be here because they've won their games. That's what sport is about. It's a results business. You play to win. Look, I can see the best players in the world week in, week out playing their leagues. I'm not going to see the Moroccan left back if it's not for the World Cup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't get to see these players week in, week out. Yeah, you get to see great quality football watching league games, but it's something about the World Cup just is completely different. It can change an entire nation's mood. It can lift an entire country. Like, you're seeing videos of fans in Marrakesh and Casablanca, and the
Yeah.
place looks mad, and you're like, I want to go to Morocco.
Yeah.
I want to jump on the plane and go to Morocco because it looks like it's class crack out there. Like, yeah, it's great to see Brazil and Argentina, and it'd be beautiful to see a World Cup semi-final of the classic nations facing off, but you don't want that. You want to see something new. Like, if you want to see Brazil and Argentina play in the World Cup, throw on the highlights of USA 94 or Italia 90 or whatever. If you want to see those games, if you want to see new stuff. You want to experience football. That's what I'm saying. You want to appreciate football in all its forms. Like, I love the tactical battles going on. I loved watching Croatia go out and figure out how are we going to shut down Brazil's samba style and their free flowing football. We're going to play dogged. We're going to play old school football. Like, me and my dad were watching that game, putting the Christmas tree up. When Croatia scored the equaliser, we nearly knocked the Christmas tree down, going mad over it because it was just
that's all I can imagine is going on in the McCurtain Lounge.
we just loved the tension of it. Like, it was just like, I love those games full of tension where a team who has no right to win is still sniffing about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't love it as much when Celtic's playing fucking Ross County and it's 0-0 with 5 minutes to go. I hate that shit, but when I don't have a personal stake in it, I love to see it.
Do you know what, lad? That's fair enough. Connor, I'm wondering should I even come to you with this because
I know.
I have a
We
feeling
already
I
know the answer.
I feel I know what your answer's going to
No,
be.
it's like with Morocco, I think it's different to Croatia. With Morocco, it was like, do you know what? Fair play, they've beaten big teams. With Croatia, they've got a bit of luck. And are you asking me, would I rather see Argentina versus Brazil or Croatia versus Argentina? I'm taking Brazil versus Argentina. I know what you're saying, go back to 1994, but these are different players, these are different teams. This is a big rivalry. This would have been a classic game. It would have been an exciting game. Both teams would have went for it. I think Croatia's going to come in. They're going to play defensive. As you boys were saying, what do you think the score's going to be? 1-0?
Probably.
Dogged game. They're going to park the bus.
But you've seen this game already.
Yeah.
You're never going to see Morocco in
No, Morocco's totally different. Morocco's a bit different to me. It's like, I understand Morocco now. I know they hurt me because of Spain, but I understand they actually play, I think, a bit better football than Croatia. I know Croatia might have the better players, like in midfield and
But
stuff.
he's
but
not
Morocco,
he's not asking you about the quality of the game. He's asking you, would you rather see underdogs?
no, you like seeing the underdogs. Can I not have both? A few underdog shocks, and then like Argentina versus Brazil would have been an unbelievable game.
Well, Brazil should have learned to take penalties then.
No, look, we're not disputing that. We're not disputing that.
Look,
Look,
the
it would have been a
94
brilliant
point, get 94 up. I don't understand that point. Look
Because
up
we've
back
already seen
40
the
years
game.
ago.
But like, I mean,
But when's the last time Argentina played Brazil in a World Cup in a semi-final?
I don't know.
In a
Actually.
massive game.
I don't know.
I think the last time they played was 1990 in like a last 16 game. So we haven't really seen it, if you get me, in that way. Like a massive game. I know they play each other in the qualifying, but sure, we'll see. You know, France, Croatia was the final of the World Cup. We've seen that before.
That's what I'm saying. We're used to saying that.
But that was shock. Croatia were shocked. They were going through. You know, I think it's just a bit of both.
But like, you can, the point is, you can see these players facing off week in, week out. You see Messi and Neymar.
But you don't want to see the best players, no?
I'd rather see the best storyline, really.
But the same Croatian players, I've seen them too 4 years ago. Like, that's basically like the same squad.
I know it is, but they're not supposed to be there. I like the idea of nobody giving somebody a chance and then them shocking the world.
No,
on
I
the
understand
biggest stage.
that, but I like the Moroccan point because I do think they play a bit of better football. They try and attack. They're beating the best teams. I think with Croatia, they've just been very dogged, they're defensive. I think it just would have been a better game. I understand where that guy's coming from. It would have been a better game. I think Morocco, France, I think it'd still be a decent game. I think we were saying this could be a decent game. It's a bit of both. It's not.
So you're saying,
I like a few shocks.
yes, you like the shocks. You like to see the best players face off against each other, but ultimately, to you want to watch the best football match.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no,
when I was
I
sitting there,
understand that.
I said it as well. When Holland were playing Argentina, it wasn't even because I like Messi. It was because Holland plays such boring defensive football, and I'd rather see Argentina play. It's not even like when you go player for player, Holland is probably
A better side.
squad than Argentina. But I just like it's not even see the best player. It's just honestly the best football. I like to see the best football
No, I understand that.
in that kind of way.
Aye,
not
like
even- I
more
understand that.
like more like attacking, like
Yeah.
attractive
like
football.
Argentina
You wanna watch a
Brazil
good game of
would have
football.
been exciting.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I
I
understand
think
that.
Morocco France will be a good game too.
Yeah, so do I.
I think that'll that'll be a good game, because I think Morocco are different to Croatia in that way. Like, they do play better football.
Yeah.
I know they're defensively sound, but they do, as you're saying, Ziyech's has been good, and their striker's been good. Like, they do play better football.
No, I understand what you're saying now. See, I thought you were just saying you'd like to see the big teams face off each other because it's the best players facing each other.
No.
But you want to watch the best football match.
That's
No, fair enough. No, I agree. I agree.
The scenes of Argentina Croatia finishes like 5-4.
I've been made to look stupid on this podcast so many times.
So yeah, well, I'll run through then, lads. Who are you taking? Morocco, France?
Well, as I said, I have France in the sweepstake, but I'm taking Morocco because I'm not betting against them. I want them to win the World Cup.
Taking Morocco at one.
I'm going France because I think Olivier Giroud is just going to lead them, and he's a legend of a man. I still think Giroud's going to be top scorer.
You still holding on that hope?
I reckon Giroud, he's in 4 goals now. I think he's top joint now, top, isn't he?
Mbappe's 5 and Giroud's 3.
Is it 3 or is it 4?
I think he's 4 because he scored.
No, he scored 2 against Australia.
2 against Australia, scored against Poland,
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
and
he's
scored
on
last
4.
night.
Scored last night 4.
Mbappe's
Yeah.
5.
So I still think Giroud will still finish top scorer.
Top scorer.
I think he'll score in the semi-final. I think he will score in the final. So I'm taking France.
Taking France. Connor?
I really actually do want to take Morocco, but because you were, I think it was like the last 16 predictions went like, who do you think's going to win it from here? I said France, and I think France just have that big game experience. So I'm just going to go France.
You're gonna go France?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Morocco. I'm gonna go with you, Oren. I'm gonna go Morocco. I just have a feeling. I'm like you. I'm not batting against them anymore because they made me look a dick so many times. So if they make me look a dick now and they lose, Morocco. Right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for this week's episode. We have a nice wee announcement for you that we're gonna have 3 podcasts this week. We are going to have today's, which we hope you enjoy. We are going to have a podcast coming out on... It's being recorded on Thursday, coming out...
Probably coming out Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, as soon as it's recorded.
And then we have a podcast then on Monday. It'll either be Sunday night or Monday, just depending on when we're all free, and that'll just be a reaction to the final. So that'll be it for all the World Cup content. Some of you will be happy to know.
We will be happy.
We will be happy to know, because I just want to get back to covering the Premier League.
The World Cup has been better though.
It has. It's definitely picked up.
But Premier League's it was the one we were
so excited.
It's our bread and butter.
It is. Look, we're very excited to announce that we're going to have some really good content coming out on local football now as well. This will be coming after Christmas, though. We just want to get exams and stuff out of the way before we fully plug into getting this kind of content on. We'll not reveal who we've got yet, but we have a couple of good interviews sorted with some local football legends, and again, we're just keep on the lookout for them. They'll be coming out. Once again, you can find us on the Parlay Sports app now. We are now founding members. Please go to the Apple App Store, download the Parlay Sports app. It is a fantastic app to use. I've really been enjoying using it. What about you guys? Yeah, it's really good fun. It's a good place to jump in, have a football conversation. They want to promote inclusivity. They want to demote hatred within football. And the best way to do that is come on, make videos, and your videos can be on absolutely any topic. We've made a good few parlays now over the course of the World Cup, especially with some of the shocks that have gone on. It's a good way to get your immediate reactions out there and then. So really enjoying using the app. So please head to the Apple App Store, download the Parlay Sports app. That's PRLY Sports. Get it downloaded. Oren, you have a nice wee announcement for us as well.
So as of last night, we're officially on Apple Podcasts, we're on Google Podcasts, we're on the Amazon Music and Audible apps, and we're also on, I can't quite remember the name of the podcast app, but it's the biggest one on the Apple App Store. I think it's called Pocket Casts.
Oh,
that is what
yes.
It's called Pocket Casts.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're officially on all of them platforms, so you have absolutely no excuse not to listen to the Bottlemen's podcast.
You've been told.
No, look, we hope you're enjoying the podcast because we're loving making it.
Yes, we are.
And
we are.
We're now available everywhere on all your main podcast apps and YouTube. And
we listened to the criticism.
Yeah.
We heard enough.
Take it in.
People told us that we weren't on enough platforms. Now we're on every single one of them. So we hope that's now an excuse for people to come in and listen to us. And look, we just want to say, guys, we really, really, really want to thank you for all the support that we've received.
We're overwhelmed.
Completely overwhelmed. Like the views that we're hitting at the minute. Look, YouTube, it fluctuates a bit, but you can expect that. But the likes of our Spotify hits, they are very consistent every week.
Yeah.
And we just want to say a massive, massive thank you. We couldn't do this without you. There'd be no reason for us to do this without you guys. You know, we feel like we've built up a loyal listener base now. And we just hope that you're enjoying the podcast. Look, if you know us personally, don't be afraid to shoot us a message. Let us know how you're feeling about the pod.
Yeah.
Let us know if there's anything you'd like us to talk about. You know, we're absolutely open to any suggestions that you have. But as the Bottom Bins family here, we just want to say thank you so much, because your support really means the world to us. We feel like we've built up an audience, and we feel like we're making the podcast for you guys at the end of the day. And if you're enjoying it and we're enjoying making it, well, long may it continue.
Yeah, our main goal starting this was for you to be involved in our conversation, because we love talking football, and we know a lot of people love talking football. So we just hope you're enjoying the conversation with us. We hope you're giving your opinions. Obviously, we can't hear them, but we want to hear them.
Yeah.
Text us your opinions.
Please
Yeah,
text us, leave comments, listen.
Comment on YouTube or on our tweets or whatever.
Tweets or whatever.
If
Look,
you
send
think
us a
we're talking
message.
shite, tell us we're talking
Yeah,
shite.
shite,
What do you
yeah.
think? Tell us what you think we should be talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look, we have on our Spotify. I try my best. Whenever I'm uploading it, I try and put a poll underneath the Spotify episode. So get involved. You know, don't be afraid to text us, comment underneath our videos. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you want us to talk about, because we're open to absolutely anything, whether it be positive or whether it be negative. We're happy to listen to every opinion that people have to share with us. So once again, keep it Bottom Bins. If you're listening on YouTube, please like, subscribe.
Share.
Hit that share button.
Comment.
If you're listening on Spotify, please hit that share button. And like Oren said, we're now available on all platforms. So you have no excuse to not listen to the Bottom Bins podcast.
Make sure we're on your Spotify drop next year. Number one spot.
Number one spot. Just before we finish up, of course, here at the Bottom Bins, there's 3 journalists and McYardle. We'd just like to offer our condolences to Grant Wall, who unfortunately lost his life at the World Cup.
Yeah.
He was a world-renowned sports journalist, and he was great at what he done. And it's just unfortunate he's lost his life. So our condolences do go out to Grant Wall and his family.
Absolutely. And he was a top journalist. Some of his work was absolutely fantastic, and
Yeah.
he
Very well
was
respected.
very well respected, and a guy who honestly wanted to promote change within the industry, and guys like that are very important to highlight.
Yeah.
Just a real shame that unfortunately he's passed on now.
Yeah.
So once again, we just want to say a massive thank you for listening. We hope you enjoy this episode, and there's plenty more content within this next week. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.